6 months. General patrol.
About what it feels like too.
Oh, see, we're shifting all the time. Who's where? Just 14 guys here. Yeah, he came back.
Call the meeting to order. It's Montcalm County Board of Commissioners, regular meeting for Monday, March 10th. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Vice Chairman Peterson.
Unfortunately, Pastor Randy Bennett is sick today, so I'll pinch hit for him. If you bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today asking for your guidance, hoping that you'll guide us through these difficult decisions we have in front of us. We ask that you continue to watch over Commissioner Johnston's wife as she continues to improve. Also, please help heal almost every commissioner here that's been sick for over a month. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Adam.
Yes.
Winner.
That's all I can do. So
Vice Chair, are you still ordained?
Yeah. Why, you getting married?
Thank you, Pastor Peterson.
You're welcome.
Roll call.
Alexander.
Here.
Johnston.
Here.
Mahar.
Here.
Murray.
Here.
Painter.
Here.
Peterson.
Yes, ma'am.
And Carr.
Yes. On the agenda, I don't have anything to add or subtract. Does anyone else?
Sure.
Commissioner Johnston.
I'd move to approve our agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve the agenda as presented. Discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. On tonight's meeting minutes, everyone have a copy of the ones from the last meeting?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Alexander.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes from the February 24th, 2025 meeting as presented.
Support. It's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the last meeting, February 24th, 2025 as presented. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comments.
Bear with me, a brief summary of what I said the last time. A study had listed the top 100 worst towns, dated 8/29/24. Stanton was 22, Edgewater 35, Howard City 89, Lakeview 4. I admitted the category with reading off Lakeview staff. Also, I had mentioned that out of the 83 counties, Montcalm was 25 of high crime rate, and Ionia was 41. I have also found the 2022 Michigan State Police Report, Violent and Property Crimes by County and City Townships. I found 23 and 24, but this is just for now. Ionia had 55 aggravated assaults. Montcalm County had 128. That's more than twice for a county that had just a slight 2,000 more people. Grand total of crawl crimes in Ionia is 1,606. Montcalm, 4,535. In the last meeting, I mentioned that Ionia had the legal secretary job posting. I later found that they had 4 legal secretaries, with one being a senior level. The one job was posted because the one secretary seems to have left. We also have 3 times more crime and not one legal secretary as opposed to what was 4, but now 3 in Ionia. Now help me make sense of that. The Greenville Daily News had an article last Wednesday that every commissioner needs to be aware of, if not already. I didn't mention the number of rapes in the state police report. Ionia had 46, Montcalm had 86. Yet we don't have a need for a legal secretary by board members who are not in the criminal law field. The prosecutor in his memo asked that you let him know your decision on the request for a legal secretary. But the prosecutor in his memo asked that you let him know your decision on the request for a legal secretary. But the board made none. Just motioned to place the letter on file. You refuse to respond to an elected official request for a response. Remember, I stated that he won more votes than the subtotal of the board. He obtained 1,584 more votes. Then this article appears in the Grand Rapids, the Greenville Daily News. It's shocking. It's horrible. Thaddeus Barrett. That's the name of the perpetrator. This is the board's responsibility. Instead, you're counting dollars instead of protecting our citizens. We deserve better than that. That it is, in my view, some kind of a standoff while you're giving the jail new kitchen countertops and painting metal and bed frames. The perpetrator needs to do the time. Also, you do your due diligence and look it up, Thomas Gingster, on Google or Alexis. There's definitely something not right. I have more that I could say, but I expect more out of my board than you're just sitting back and not being diligent.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Vice Chairman Peterson with tonight's correspondence. please.
Alrighty. First up is going to be on page 8 of your packet. It is a duo multi-factor authentication request. This comes from our controller, who I'm sure can talk more to this. Also, it is her birthday today, so if that makes it into the minutes, that would be great. The first option, it looks like this is just a authentication software that must be, according to the state, placed on any computer that has access to Lean. The first option for us would be that all county computers would receive this VC3 authentication, duo multi-factor authentication. Second option would be just the computers that access Lean would be the ones to receive this. Brenda, did I miss anything?
No. It's basically what the two numbers represent.
But she goes on to say there's some legislation coming down the line where all computers, regardless of whether they're lean or not, probably need that authentication sometime in the future. Is that?
That's what IT is indicating that the insurance companies are starting to do. We haven't had that push yet from ours, but
Well, that whole lean thing really has gotten to be a snarl of all the complications they've changed. All the 800 radios had to get reprogrammed and certain channels taken out of radios, and the radios aren't good enough to do the encryption. That's part of the money we gave away to the police group to get new radios that could stand the encryption. And what a mess. I mean, after 9/11, the state and everybody else involved couldn't move fast enough to accomplish interoperability where anybody that had a radio could talk to the other person. And then this is all out the window now. Our radios, we don't have any communication with law enforcement because of this. And then now it's not even good enough. They got to encrypt it. And then now any of these computers have got to have this other. It's just ridiculous the amount of money they're spending on that. It seems like the simple solution to me would have been don't talk about anything over the radio that involves Lean. Have it go to your computer in the car and leave the radios alone. But that's too simple.
Oh. Well, and it's not like the state to hand down any unfunded mandates or
No.
anything like that.
Everything
I mean, realistically,
everything makes perfect sense.
yeah.
We have a
So
time frame on when the other computers have to have it, or is it just coming?
well, the Lean computers were all supposed to have it by January 17th, but no one told me that. So we've already, according to the state's due dates. So
No, my only point was, I don't know why you would need to spend them and do all of them, and if we don't know when the rest of them have to have it. Obviously, Lean has
it's going to be more of a proactive approach,
Oh, gotcha.
basically. You know, if it's going to cost $11,000 now to do it, what's it going to cost in 2 years, 3 years? Is it going to be more
Plus,
than that?
It looked cheaper per computer, per unit, if you did all of it at once. The price seemed cheaper.
That radio works.
Is there an additional cost when we add new computers to do it over again, or is this
No, it would just be part of our background
Part of the
software and be pushed out to every new computer. So,
Just buy the licenses or whatever.
yeah,
So
Makes sense to do it.
it says there's a monthly cost,
yeah, so.
and I don't, which one is that on here? I'm
So-
looking at page 11.
So the page that has all the numbers on it, so lines 1 and line 3, I believe, are reoccurring.
So $663 and $24 for the full county and $330 and $24 for part.
Yes,
Okay.
so those would be monthly reoccurring.
So essentially $687 for one or $354 for the other monthly. Correct?
Mhm.
And what would you like to see happen?
I don't know. IT's suggesting we just do them all.
And would this be something where we have to authenticate through our phone again or something, or?
I'm not sure if everyone would have to, because there are fobs on here, or those tokens.
Oh, it'd be something we'd have to,
So those might just be for the jail folks, though, those tokens. I'm not sure. Yeah, and so it's like right now, we just have it attached to our email where we authenticate when we get to a
Right.
new location. Now it's anytime you turn your computer on, you're gonna have to authenticate. So I'm sure it is gonna be through that app.
and is VC3 connected to our IT department? Is this just another
Our IT department.
VC3 is?
Mhm.
So they're just selling us another service?
Well, the state's ordering. that we
Right,
have
for
to
lien.
have lien, for
Yeah.
lien folks, yeah.
Are we, are we getting a discount, like a bulk order price for doing them all, or are we paying
It-
the same that we would be paying if we did them separately, I
They've
guess?
got the same numbers in the price columns.
Well,
there.
except the professional services looks like it's like $45 different per unit. I'm assuming that 221 is the amount of units
Mhm.
and the 110. So if you divide them out, then yeah, it'd be like $45 cheaper per unit if you did both.
Did all of them.
If we think that the two-part authentication is a good idea for the entire county, then I guess I would be okay with doing them all, but I really don't like the idea of doing them all under the guise that we may have to do it in the future, because we may not, and what they want could be different as well in the future. So that's something to consider, I guess.
I tend to agree, and I mean, the less rigmarole I have to do to get into my computer is the better, 'cause
Yeah, no,
it's tough enough already. I got to change my password every 60 days or something.
Yeah, I guess I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. So,
I guess I would lean towards, well, no pun intended. I would go probably for just the computers that have lean, and then just kind of see where it goes from there. Does anybody have any?
That's where I'm at.
That's where I'm at.
Okay, then I would move to authorize the county controller to accept the second option for the dual multi-factor authentication to be deployed on the county computers that have access to lien as presented.
Support.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Discussion. If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, next up, page 21 is our budget calendar. Our controller would like a little bit of input and/or approval on the way it's presented. You can see that again on page 21. Mainly the parts that would affect us would be the budget work sessions that we talked about, July 21st and 23rd at 8 a.m., July 28th at 1 p.m., and then again, if needed, July 30th at 8 a.m. And then from there, finalizing the budget, and then approving it. Does anybody have any qualms with the way that this is set up currently?
I was just wondering, on the July 28th, why was that at 1 instead of 8 like the rest of them?
It's a board day.
Okay,
It's a board meeting day, so we'll
okay.
just-
I'm gonna come and do it just for a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That'll be a full day of laughs. So if nobody has anything to change on that, I would move to accept the fiscal year 2026 budget calendar as presented.
It's been moved and supported to accept the fiscal year 2026 budget calendar as presented. Discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next up, page 22 is the Cannonsville Road Tower lease amendment. As we talked about, I believe at last meeting, I think this is just, everything is lined up with the way we wanted to see it, and a little legal housekeeping, and we're just approving it from here, correct, Brenda?
Yep.
So if nobody has any discussion on this, I would move to approve the First Amendment to the lease agreement as presented and allow for the appropriate signatures.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and then everybody's favorite warrant reports. We got 3 of them here. Warrant report 022722025 in the amount of $537,815.93. Next up, warrant report 03062025 in the amount of $309,761.73. And finally, warrant report 03102025 in the amount of $488,680.32 for a grand total of $1,336,257.98. If nobody has any questions, comments, or concerns on that, I would move to approve as presented and allow for the appropriate signatures.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve all 3 warrant reports totaling $1,336,257.98. Discussion. If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next up, consent agenda, items 7 through 8. If nobody has anything for those, I would move to place them on file.
Support.
Been moved and supported to place the consent agenda, items 7 and 8 on file. Discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and the rest is for your information and a resolution from Livingston County supporting local control and claim of appeal against Public Service Commission order. I'm sure that is a invigorating read. I encourage all of you to do so. But if nothing else, that will be your board correspondence for Monday, March 10th.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Peterson. Thank you. Committee reports, is that committee from earlier coming into play here today or next meeting?
Probably next meeting, I would assume.
We gotta take all that.
Okay,
They're ready if you want them. Sorry, I didn't think about that.
It's not a huge rush.
new business, item 1, clerk
I don't
correspondence.
have anything.
Item 2, controller correspondence.
I have a few things. So I put an ARPA update on your desks for the new commissioners. That basically is what was approved is the first page back when we started that whole process. The back side of the second page is where we are at with our spending. And as you can see down in the lower left-hand corner, where it says as of 2/28/25, the biggest item there is the flyover that we contracted for to happen this year. So that should be happening here quite soon before, we're probably already in the progress of doing it. And then with a few of the projects had excess monies that I applied towards the camera project, as you can see there. So I'm hoping by the end of this calendar year, we'll be done with it. So that's what that is. Then the second thing I put on your desk was a memo on one side and then something from the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. This is the new sick time law that went into effect on February 21st. Rochelle and I met with our labor law attorney 2 weeks ago. I chose not to be proactive because there were so many different changes being proposed all the time. So Nate is working on our policy as we speak, but we did have a 30-day time frame from the 21st to get notice out to every employee that we were going to comply by it. So that's what this represents. So Nate, our legal, put this together. So I'll be sending this out to every employee this week so we can meet that compliancy requirement. Let's see what else I got here. I Am Safe asked to put pinwheels out on the court complex lawn again this year. Does anyone have a problem with that? We've done it every year for I don't know how many years now. Wheels are okay with everyone?
Yep.
All right. And let's see. Okay, I got a couple McCarthy Park questions. So we've had a request. Well, we've had two requests. Since we put the golf course in over there, disc golf, Doug has had the request to rent the entire park for a day. Right now, our rules don't allow that. The gentleman in charge of some organization where they do tournaments said that normally what they do is they rent the entire park to keep out everyone else out, and we would charge them double what we would normally get if everything was rented by individuals for that day. We did too have just last week had a individual request to rent the entire park for a wedding and have a private wedding there. What are your feelings on that? We would gate it off and we put a notice out in advance. This is Doug's suggestion. Put a notice out a couple weeks in advance that this is going to happen on this date. The park will be closed for a private function. What are your thoughts?
Double the money we'd normally get.
That was the suggestion. Yeah.
What would that end up being?
What do we get? 100 for each small pavilion and 150 for the big?
150 for the large, 75 each for the small.
300 total.
300.
So it'd be $600.
Yeah.
The first organization they're looking to do a Frisbee golf tournament.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad way to go. I hate just saying if somebody wants to come use the park, turn them away, but at the same time, it's one day or 2 days, whatever.
Well, we rent Schmid Park or Ford Lincoln
Yeah.
Privately, yeah.
privately. And someone could conceivably drive to McCarthy Park with the idea of using a space and it's already rented.
Mm-hmm.
Just not, I mean, their individual spaces are already all taken and there's
Right.
no room in the end. So I don't know. that
I think
it's-
if it's advertised or there's a sign out front by the gate that says, park closed for private event, I don't see anything wrong with it.
My only concern is if it got to be like where it's happening with great frequency, where it then no longer is a public park, it's a private events reserved. And I would think that we probably should limit the number of, like if you're going to do a weekend, you can only do 2 weekends a month or something like that, or something.
Well, it's
I
just
don't-
gonna be
I
like
don't
a
care.
day.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a day.
I do want, but I agree with you. I mean, if word got out that you could rent the whole park for $600 and have a wedding there, it might become a popular place. And
Right.
is that what we want it to be? But
Right.
I think on a limited basis, I think for sure. I mean, and I doubt that's going to happen.
I don't either, but I want to be protected.
And I think that hosting a tournament is a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Right.
I think it brings more
Promotes.
players and promotes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, you couldn't run a tournament if Adam and I show up and we're in the middle of it and we're not part of it.
We would absolutely dominate. I already know. I guess ultimately, I don't think it's a bad idea. We can kind of just start out and see if it works. If we get huge requests every weekend to rent out the whole park for weddings or whatever, then we reevaluate, but
Yep.
start here and see where it goes. And I mean, it'd be cool if it was something we could rent out for actual money and people wanted to go there. I
Absolutely.
don't know. Or rent it out for an afternoon or, whatever. That's my thought. It's right down the road for me. I don't want a bunch of ruffians, those disc golf players, boy. Oof.
So how do you want us, because we have had the one wedding request already.
I think for this year, allow it to happen wherever you can, and we'll reevaluate it next season based on how
The
many
frequency is. and
times you did it
So
and how
then
well it
two
worked.
times the rental fee is okay for everyone?
Yep, good
That
place
seems
to
reasonable.
start.
All right. All right, is someone you want to make a motion or do we want to?
So moved.
It's been moved and supported to allow the controller and staff to develop a full day rental for McCarthy Park as a trial in 2025, and we'll reevaluate it after this season. Discussion. If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. And the only other thing I had was just to bring a reference to the revenue sharing articles that appear in the MAC newsletter every Friday. That might be in jeopardy here going forward here for a cut.
The state revenue sharing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'll keep you posted as I know.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right, number 3 is the chair board correspondence. I don't have anything. Does any other member of the board? Just go ahead.
Quickly. I had an organization who was looking to help vets, mental health through like yoga. And they were asking about potential, grants through the board. Will we be taking any sort of applications for like the marijuana money or the opioid stuff, or are we kind of full on that?
Brenda's.
We just got over 400 in marijuana money last week or the week before.
Is this something they would be giving to vets for free, or would they be charging them?
I think it's free. Vanessa Palmer and Jay McBride. It's something that I think they're doing or trying to do.
I guess no offense, but what is the money for?
Well, I'm not sure.
Oh,
I told Vanessa that if there was an opportunity to apply for some funds, that we probably would potentially have her on the agenda to tell us about what she's looking to do. But it would kind of align. What she's telling me is that it would kind of align, I think, with what we're thinking as far as some of that funds, as far as helping with substance abuse disorder stuff and mental health type stuff. So I was just curious. I didn't know if we were. I just wanted to point them in the right direction. I didn't know if we'd have any funds available for any sort of grants or not.
well, when does the opioid committee select their?
Oh, that's right.
25 is already done and payments went out in January. So
That's right.
we won't put our request for RFPs out again until September 1st
Mm-hmm.
for next year.
I just was thinking that could be.
That's fine. I'm kind of looking for information, and I
Mhm. But, we've talked about 2 years in a row, I think now, putting a plan together for the spending of the marijuana money. And because we've
Well,
just
didn't-
been kind of one here, one off here.
Didn't we use some of that marijuana money for some of
We
the?
did.
Yeah.
Yep. About 160,000 of it.
Well, couldn't
And
we
we'll-
lump all those requests into one and spend the opioids on obviously opioid dictated spending, but then kind of trickle down the marijuana money from there?
We can.
I guess I thought that's what we've kind of transitioned to, just based in the request and how many people we were able to fund with those funds this year, but maybe I'm off.
Well, we gave community corrections 56.5,
Mm-hmm.
an appropriation for them to make Joe full-time. We talked about the CT scanner for ME. So I mean, we've talked about some different things, but I don't know, I feel like we need to sit down and put a plan together.
And we just got 400 and how much? 50 something?
16? Oh, let me look. She just received it in last week.
Vice Chair.
I'm sorry.
No, so I did forward her the application that you had in last month's packet, because what she was specifically looking for was she's a yoga instructor. She's working with some vets right now, but she said there's actually some training available that would actually help her to maybe service vets better.
You're talking through the Community Advancement Committee?
So this would be essentially I think it is maybe groundwork for a base. I don't know,
Right.
for a business. I don't know if
Yeah.
she's charging right now, but so I did supply her that, and she was thinking about applying for that for training for her to assist the vets. So anyways, just there was that.
Have you, and I'm sure you have, but have you talked to Trevor Wright at all about it?
So they actually were in our, well, they were in our, not our last meeting, but the meeting before that. They came and attended and kind of told what their mission was and what they were doing, and
Trevor,
they wanted to collaborate. So
Yeah.
there were some talks going on. I guess I don't really know exactly what took place after the meeting, but
Is that the couple that was here last meeting?
No,
No.
different color. Jay McBride.
just got elected to the city council.
City Council.
Oh, was it? Yep.
So it was $465,829.28. We just got the end of February.
That's a lot of tater tots, for sure. I don't think it's a bad idea to see if we can't use some of that money to help with things like that. I mean, obviously our vets need just as much attention, if not more than some others. So I don't know about
Trevor
yoga.
Potentially has some money in the Veterans Affairs budget to host a session like that.
I did yoga once, couldn't walk right for a week. Was not good. I mean, it was good, but
It might be prudent advice to have her reach out to Trevor and see if there's anything available in their coffers for those services.
Okay.
You got a pretty good budget now in the village, but.
Yeah.
If not, the next time we have RFPs released for that kind of stuff, we can keep it in mind.
fair enough.
Anyone else? Board correspondence? No old business, public comments.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a public comment. Happy birthday to our controller.
Birthday, Brenda.
Thank you.
And I move to adjourn.
Been moved and supported to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
33 minutes.
On record.
Not a record, no, you